Hey everyone, so it is somehow time for the October garden tour. So it's early October right now. August went by slow, September went by super fast, and it seemed like as soon as the first day of actual fall hit, the temperature dropped 20 degrees. So we were consistently in, I'd say like mid 80s, and nighttime temps were dipping down into the 60s, but it went from like 80 degrees to 55 degrees overnight. It was crazy. So now we are sitting at about high 50s, low 60s during the day, low 50s at night, almost getting down into the 40s. So I'm going to show you what the garden looks like right now. I already know that this is the month where a lot of what I'm going to show you is going to get taken down. So let's go ahead and see what the garden looks like early October. Starting here in the center raised bed, so I still have all of the zinnias in here. They're definitely starting to look a bit tired. So the leaves at the bottom are beginning to brown, but I haven't again had really any issues with like powdery mildew or anything like that. I mean, given that it's October, I think overall they look pretty healthy. So again, I have in here Cinderella Peach, which I absolutely love. I have Oklahoma Pink, and then let me see if I can find a Queen Lime Orange or if I harvested them all for a little bouquet yesterday. We might see one on the other side, but that's what was in here. These are going to be gone probably in the next couple weeks as I make room for some tulips. Then coming down here in front, we have my two Gomphrena here, one in the back. These I transplanted to replace the supertunias that were totally eaten by budworms. So these are not looking too great. If you get in close here, you can see that the leaves are starting to wilt a bit on those, so I think I'm going to probably harvest all of the Gomphrena in my garden pretty soon. And then in the center, I just have some sweet potato vines, which I really like those. I think I might actually put some in there throughout the entire season next year to have them growing in the front. And that way, when my supertunias inevitably get eaten, there will still be something that's already been in the bed. Down in front here, I have my two heucheras that need to get transplanted downstairs to the parkway. I have that on my plan for this weekend. We'll see if I actually do it. I don't know if I loved the little pots I had up here, so I don't know if I'm going to do that again or try to find something else to put in front of the raised bed. Coming over to the side, what you'll probably notice is that the herb garden is now gone. So all of my herbs have officially been harvested. They are either already in containers because they've been drying, or they're hanging inside to dry, but there are no more herbs growing in my garden. So in their place, well, not really in their place, but I just shifted over the lemon tree here that I'll bring inside relatively soon. And then here I have some radishes. This is my second round. I already harvested one round of radishes, and I actually have beets in here too, because I figured I'd try maybe to do radishes, and then when they're ready to harvest, the beets will be growing behind them. So I've never put them all in the same pot. We'll kind of see how that goes. But I think I planted these maybe about 2 weeks ago. So they should be ready to harvest in a couple more weeks. So that is all that's over here right now. Swinging over here to the fall cart, which I'm still in love with. So we have, now you can see the spider plant chandelier. I have a bunch of pansies, which I have been staying up on deadheading them, which I never did before, and it has made such a difference. There's so many more blooms. I just picked some now to dry or to press, and that's been really fun too. But actually going through and deadheading, I've already noticed a difference. Cabbage here, celosia, more cabbage, sweet potato vine, the alyssum, and the spider plant, I think are the only things that are left over from kind of summertime. I have all my pots stored back there that used to have the herbs. Grass plant, I can't remember what exactly that one is, and then more mums here. So that is my fall cart. I really, really love it. I need to bring the cart inside for the winter. Still trying to figure out where I'm going to store it and what I'm going to do with it. Swinging over here to the table, another pot of pansies, which I just harvested more to press, but there's still little buds forming. And then down here are the root balls of the 5 that I just harvested. So again, I like to leave the root balls out to dry for a little bit just because that makes them more lightweight and easier to carry down. And if you can see down here, can you guess which one was the mint plant? That's right, it's the one with the giant root ball where the roots were actually growing out of the bottom of the pot. So you want to be careful whenever you're planting mint. Keep it contained, but also if you have the container on soil, the roots here will grow out, under, and then into the soil all around the pot. So that's the most prolific. I could pot it in a larger container next year. All the other ones seem to do pretty good in the 8-inch diameter pots. I have my strawberry plant behind it. There are flowers, but I haven't had a ton of berry production, at least none that are turning red. I mean, there's some here that are green. Here's one that is still white at the top, so I might give that another day or two, but I haven't obviously been getting as many berries off of that plant now. And then over in this corner, I have my 3 very sad looking hydrangeas. I need to go through and harvest off the blooms because I like to dry those out and then just use them throughout the winter for, I don't know, random projects. But these 3, like I said, didn't really like the heat over here of the afternoon sun, so I'm going to try them in the back deck, hopefully overwintering them, and then they'll come back and enjoy the morning sun, but we'll see. And then we have my raspberry bush over here, which is, I think, this is its 3rd year. I think I planted it fall of 2020, so it would be its 2nd year. Planted it fall of 2020, came back 2021, came back 2022. It's been putting out raspberries like crazy this year, and so has the runner that I propagated that's on the other deck. So I've had so many raspberries the last few weeks. I absolutely love it. My 2 blueberry plants here, this one is the regular blueberry plant. This one is the dwarf variety. I have my knockout rose, which is flushed back, I don't even know, 5 times. It's just been so beautiful. So this is another one that, fingers crossed, hopefully overwinters fine and comes back again next year because I absolutely love it. Then up here, actually this right now is my favorite view with the red maple in the background, or the red leaves of the maple in the background. And then in the bed is all of my gomphrena. So the QIS purple, the strawberry fields, QAS orange, and then QAS carmine right there. These are all going to be harvested again relatively soon. Oh, and then also the rogue petunia that I had planted last year that I pulled, but that came back. I really love seeing random plants pop up, as long as they're plants that I like. So anytime I see something like that, I just go ahead and leave it. Again, more of the red leaves. Then swinging over here, I have my giant Dahlia zinnias, my 2 tomato plants, and the giant Benary zinnias. They are still blooming, so I'm still harvesting and getting bouquets. I am still getting handfuls of tomatoes, I'd say, about every other day. I did recently top off the branches to speed up the ripening of the rest of the tomatoes before I pull it, and I do feel like that has worked, but maybe it's just a placebo effect, I'm not sure, but it does seem like the tomatoes are ripening faster than they have been. Again, more of the giant zinnias, which I love. Grew them first time last year. Now I'm definitely going to grow them every single year in the garden. Down here I have 1 rhubarb plant, the other gomphrena, and then around the zinnias is my other rhubarb plant. These I both overwinter and just left out the last 2 years. So next year will be their 3rd year, and I read that's when they are ready to kind of harvest the most from them. So kind of year 3 and on, you can harvest a lot more off of your rhubarb, so I'm excited for next year. And here is how the fall raised bed is doing. I really like it. I think just the addition of having all these colors in here is really pretty. I've again been harvesting the pansies on a regular basis to dry. We had the black-eyed Susans, we had the celosia. I did just pick some of the coneflowers, so they aren't blooming yet, but there's new blooms popping up there. Now for these, I think I'm gonna leave in the bed over winter and see if either the coneflowers or the black-eyed Susan or the pansies reseed and come back next year. I think that would be really fun. Swinging over to the back wall, we have, again, I removed, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 6 dinner plate dahlias. So chopped off the top of that one, but we still have the Thomas A. Edison here. I still have the decorative dahlias, which there are some buds ready to bloom there. In the raised bed in between, I have the sunflower trellises, 100% doing that again next year, even though they're not blooming anymore. I still love them. And then the peas down here that have been growing up the stalks. Another decorative dahlia here, the same fire pot, and then 2 more Gomphrena, the QAS purple, QAS pink. They just recently kind of started to look a little bit tired. They look actually good on camera, but the leaves, you know, aren't quite as vibrant and green. There's a little bit more brown on them than there used to be. So I think the weather is just finally starting to take a toll. So I want to harvest all of these pretty soon so they're still in good shape when they dry. Because basically what they look like when you harvest them is what they look like when they dry. Then over on this side of that raised bed, I had the salvia that I got from the Grand Garden Show, which has done an excellent job of covering up the dahlias that I cut down. We still have the few branches of what's left of Otto's Thrill, but the blooms, oh, I see a bug hiding in there, but the blooms are still absolutely beautiful. So I still love having even just the couple of branches here of that dahlia. And the other 2 are cut down as well. Then I have also the 2 miniature hydrangeas that I got from the Grand Garden Show as well. I forget the exact variety, but they are dwarf varieties. And then over here I have my aronia berry bush, which that puts out berries in late summer, so it's just kind of been hanging out here ever since. I think the leaves on these get red, but I can't remember for sure. I just got it last year, but I'm pretty sure those turned a really beautiful color of red. So that is everything on this front deck here. I'll quickly pop back to the back deck in just a second to show you the very few remaining bags I have back there, but just want to show off this view one more time. So there's not really much left on the back deck. This is the other raspberry bush, and again, this was the runner that I dug up from the container and replanted, and it's almost as big as the original. So I have that over here. I have 1, 2 of the miniature knockout roses. Everything's just been kind of shifted around here as I've been shifting stuff around. I started another round of beets. I don't know if it was too late based on how long it takes for them to be ready to harvest, but oh well, I started them anyway. And then I have the other beets behind it, which I think should be ready maybe in the next few weeks. Behind it I have the carrots, and this is where I had some swallowtail caterpillars that I basically let eat however many of the carrot leaves they wanted because they got murdered by wasps earlier in the season. So I let these kind of have free reign. This one got much more eaten, but there are some leaves coming back, so I don't know how these are going to do. But this bag was not too damaged with the amount that was eaten, so this one should be good. Then I also have the 2 dwarf blueberries, and I think that's everything on the back deck besides all of the empty grow bags that I need to still organize, clean up, and store. So that is what the garden looks like at the beginning of October. This is definitely going to be a month of change with a lot of my plants coming down, so not really looking forward to that, but am looking forward to a little bit more time as we kind of get into the slower months of the year. If you want to check out my other monthly garden tours for this year, and I have some for last year as well, I'll link both of those playlists down below. And then for this year, I'll probably do another garden tour early November just to see the change, and then probably not after that. I think I did one December last year, but there really wasn't much to show, so I think the next garden tour might be the last one for 2022. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.